Okay, so this is going to be a first impressions video of the Smittybilt Overlander tent, that thing up there. I wanted to do this in a place more scenic than my driveway, but I saw people online have been asking kind of what thoughts are about this tent from some of the owners. So I wanted to put this video out and kind of explain the things I like about it. I've spent 2 nights in a tent so far, not a ton, hence the first impressions part of this video. And I will do a longer full review once I spend a lot more time in the tent. But I just kind of wanted to put this out so that people can get a good idea of what you get with this tent versus some of the more expensive ones, and help you guys make a more informed choice if this is something you're interested in, or if you want to spend the extra money to get a higher quality rooftop tent. So I'm gonna go set it up, and then I'll be back with you guys about things I like, don't like, and things you should watch out for. So this is probably the first big difference on this tent. My other camera's over there. But this is instead of this being a zipper as it is, I think Tepui and I think CVT also make their tents with zippers. This is all Velcro. So it's really not that big of a deal, but it is a lot louder when you're trying to set up if you pull into a campsite late, or if you're trying to pack the thing to go in the morning, as I was this weekend a couple times. To be making Velcro sounds, trying to align all the Velcro. If you're trying to leave at like 5:30 in the morning and everybody's still sleeping at your campground, probably not the most polite thing to be doing this, making all the Velcro sounds going around it, but it does work. And that's probably the first major difference I have to say about this. Another difference here is how when this is cinched shut, these straps are all Velcro on here, as opposed to being clips on some of the other tents. And they're riveted in pretty well. I don't really think I was a little concerned when I first saw it, but these are all pretty well attached. I don't really think it's going to go anywhere, rip off, or anything like that. So just make note that this is all Velcro. That's the tent. All right, so I've kind of got the tent opened up now a little bit, and I want to show off a few more of the things that I know are definitely different between this tent and some of the other makers. So I guess this is probably the part where we should get into the cost on this. I think it retails for about 900 bucks. I actually got mine really good. I paid about just under 700. I had a really good deal from 4-Wheel Parts. Yeah, so it's a lot cheaper. This compares against, I'm not sure the CVT model, but I noticed the Pui is called the Kuknaman Sky. And it's the Sky because it actually has the removable panels in the roof. So if that's something you're looking for, which was a major thing for me, this worked out almost perfectly. And I love it so far, and I'm super excited about it. But we're gonna show some of the differences with the actual tent now between this and that model. And the biggest thing that I noticed are the zipper quality. So these are the zippers on this tent on the Smittybilt, and they're not bad. I mean, they're definitely zipped with authority. I don't feel like they're gonna get snagged or anything. And they're the same zippers here, and then throughout the tent. I don't know if you can see that in there, over there, and all the sky panels too are all the same. I know I think they're YKK on things like the Tepui and the CVT tents. These are not. These are made by, I think, SBS. That's what it says on there. So just something to note if you're really interested in the highest quality materials. You probably already guessed that the one that costs half the price is going to be lower quality. And that's basically where it's at, is in things like that, little tiny areas. The actual material, from my research, I think it's the same. I think it's 600.
You know, this isn't really camping, you know that, right?
Yeah. I'm aware, thanks. So the zippers are different, and I think I couldn't find a spec on this material, but it's not no CM mesh, which is something I was a little disappointed in, but I guess okay for the price. This is mosquito mesh. I don't know if you could see it. I'm gonna try to focus. There we go. So it's just mosquito mesh. There's not little loops in between there that would block out no-see-ums. It's still pretty small and it keeps most of the bugs out. I did have a few gnats that got in, but I think those are from somewhere else. Come on, focus in here. This cord inside here doesn't have any adjustables or adjustable areas where I think I've seen on some of the other tents. You can kind of make it tighter or looser as you need to. So it's just a fixed cord, but it does the same job. It works pretty well. Otherwise, there's plenty of pockets inside. There's 4 pockets, one at every corner. There's one here, one there, one there, one there. Multiple vents, one on each side. It's supposed to minimize moisture buildup inside the tent. It doesn't work that well. Over there is actually really cool. That is a light strip. And so that's something that I don't think I've seen on either the Tepui or CVT tents, but comes standard here with this. So it plugs into a USB power, any sort of USB power. The tent does come with a USB cord that you can plug into your power outlet in your car and then run it up here. Or if you have a USB battery pack, like I do for charging my phone, I plug it in and it works fine. I have like a 15,000 milliamp hour battery pack, plugged it in, worked fine for multiple days. At night, easy, simple, don't have to worry about draining my car battery. I did notice a few areas inside here that the taping of the seams, I don't know if you can see this on the camera, but the taping of the seams is not always clean and not always exact, but at the same time I haven't found any that are open. So I haven't seen any areas where the seams look like they're going to fail, but just something I'm going to keep an eye on. Up there's a few little holes, you know, just from where the material's been pulled apart, but it's all taped. Everywhere I've found that so far, it looks like it's been taped over. So it's something I will be keeping an eye on, but at the same time, it doesn't appear to be an issue. But it is something that if you're going to be in a heavy rain environment, that you want to be aware of. Yeah, that's about it inside here. One of the other major differences between this and some of the more expensive tents is the ladder here. So this is the ladder on the Smittybilt Overlander. It's a square style. I know some of the newer CVT and Tepui tents have a sort of retractable ladder that folds up within itself. They're both nice, they both do their job. I do have an issue with these getting stuck sometimes. They don't always latch into place quite right. But overall, I actually like this a lot. Down here we have a lot of sand, and I can get sand in here, and it's real easy to brush it out. I can pull up any sort of everything from a toothbrush, just paper towel, shove it in there, wipe it down, it gets out. Whereas with those other retractable tents, I've seen people get sand stuck in them and then they start grinding, and it's real hard to clean them out if they're the kind with the concentric circles that they go inside. Down here, this is just a standard plastic material here. And now some of the more expensive ruggedized models, or the Summit series, I think they call it, from CVT, are made out of metal. This isn't, but this is pretty standard for about anything you're gonna get other than, again, those previously mentioned ruggedized or higher ones. So nothing is all basically the same as you're going to find anywhere else. The material here is all, again, like I said, I'm pretty sure it's the same material. There's nothing about this feels cheap at all. You know, I paid, again, under $700 for mine, and all of this feels very durable, very thick. There's nothing about it that really leaves me to question that this is going to last. Not even difference, but just problem I had with, I guess, these holes that are drilled here for the awnings to stick out are pretty sloppily done all the way around, and I've actually had to go in and drill them out with a drill just to straighten them or make them a little deeper in some cases. But this one's really messy. You see, and that was how it came from the factory. That was my drill did not do that. So just something, I don't know if this is different on the more expensive tents, other tents, but just something I had to do with this one. That and this here, I guess the plastic you can see is all cracked. This does absolutely nothing on this tent though. So I'm not too concerned about it. Just something to make note. Again, quality on this is definitely a step below what I would expect from something, you know, for the price I'm okay with it, but if this costs twice the amount, which is what it's comparing against other tents at literally twice the cost, so I'm okay with some of these things, but just something to keep an eye on. Again, I have no idea if any of these are issues with any of the CVT or Tepui tents, but with the Smittybilt, again, at half the price or at the price I paid, I'm okay putting up with some of this stuff. I figured I was going to customize it in my own ways as time goes on anyhow, so not too big of a deal. And this, I guess, I said this is all Velcro, but it does cinch down pretty well on it. I've had this on the highway going probably about 75 or so, and it's been rock solid. I haven't had any issues. How it attaches to the roof of the car. It's this kind of sloppy sort of just metal plate system. It doesn't even contour to the roof rack at all. So it's really kind of a mess. You can see I've got sacrificial blue tape up there that I had to use to hold on some of the bolts to keep them in place. This is kind of really messed up sort of thing with 4 or 5 different pieces you have to align just right. But I think this is the way for all rooftop tents that I've found so far. The only difference is that that plate on the bottom is flat on this car, or on this model tent, where I think it's curved on some of the others, but it holds it in fine. I've not had any issues with it sliding, making any noise, rattling, none of that. This thing's been rock solid, and again, I've had it on the highway in storms and weather, driving around. I've had it on for about a month and a half now, so yeah, take that for what you will. So that's a first look at the Smittybilt Overlander rooftop tent. If you have any questions, post them in the comments below or wherever, if this is on a forum. I'll try to get back to anybody who has questions about it. I've not compared this personally to any of the other tents I've mentioned, Tepui or CVT or Iron Man or whoever else makes other tents like this. But these are just my impressions of this tent and some of the things I've noticed from the spec sheets that are different versus the others. Yeah, I hope that explains it. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks.